Shout outs. Are we doing shout outs right now?
Hey, we are rolling.
What we got here, Nate?
Tonight I cooked Filipino spaghetti. Now, this is just a Filipino take on, of course, obviously, Italian dish. It's just sweeter. Just sweeter than your average spaghetti, and the main staple, is that it has to have the fucking hot dogs.
Gotta have the hot dogs.
Yeah, that's like a big thing. Like if you go to Jollibee or a lot of the places, the Filipino spots that serve spaghetti,
How do they cut?
diagonally.
Gotta be cut diagonally.
It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know why it's a thing, but it's a thing. Yeah, this is the one without cheese for Wasio. And I think JMO and
dairy.
Yeah. Trying to be lactose conscious here. This one, very cheesy.
I won't lie that does look much more appeasing.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, huh?
It looks pretty good.
Welcome to TV Dinner, episode 5, featuring Ru AREYOU. TV Dinner is a dinner party we throw with our friends, and then we play music and we hang out and eat good food. We had some Filipino pasta and some lumpia tonight. That was tight. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
We're turning up.
How you doing?
Peace, bro. Great.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming
Fucking
on.
great. Thank you. Thank you
Appreciate
for inviting me to the TV
sure.
dinner.
It's been a minute since we've been trying to make this happen, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like I first talked to you about it like in April, May.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. It's July. You're a busy man. You're on the road a lot.
Yeah.
How long you been home for?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Is this like the longest
2
during
weeks.
the tour that you've been home?
Nope.
Where'd you just come from?
I came from London.
Tight. How was that?
London is great. I love London. Everybody there dresses really cool, so I feel like a fucking loser there.
Fashion over there is actually pretty tight.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, why are you on tour? Like, what do you do?
I'm a tricker for Justin Bieber. Not a
Purpose
dancer.
tour. Amongst other things, artist, producer, dancer.
Mm-hmm.
But how long is the tour going for?
This is the second year of doing all this. The first year was crazy. We went all over US. We went to Europe. And I went to Tokyo for the first time. And it was an amazing experience, and it's still amazing.
Tight, man. Where are you about to go off to?
Texas?
So is this like the rest of this leg, like all U.S.?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Word.
It's just like
That's cool.
cities here and there. We'll be there for like a weekend and then come back and then do the same thing.
Do you find time to like make beats when you're on the road?
Yeah, dude.
Like every day, or like how consistent are you? Are you more consistent when you're here, or like can you pull it off on the road too?
I kind of adjusted to that lifestyle of moving everywhere.
Yeah.
So with that, it like inspired me to do other things and like step out of my box. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a box anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it just helps your inspiration and like, yeah.
Would you say that your music really started to level up while you were touring?
I think so, yeah, for sure. Because being around the environment of like tour life and like just being around like a fucking huge celebrity, you know what I mean? You just feed off the energy naturally, you know? And you just automatically just like learn a bunch of things and you process a bunch of things and you're like, oh crap. It's almost like an overload, you know? And definitely like helped my music.
That's dope. So you're just like producing in headphones for a majority of your stuff.
I'm producing off like the laptop speakers.
Really, bro?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's not till recently where I got like a little portable speaker, the JBL joint. It's like $80.
Yeah.
It's really terrible, but
Yeah, I mean it's better.
but
than
yeah,
the
if it
laptop,
could slap off that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
then you're doing well.
bumping, yeah.
And dude, that makes sense because all your shit that you've been showing me slaps. So. What came first for you, like tricking and dancing or music production?
Tricking and dancing for sure.
For sure. When did you start that?
So I was 4 years old when I started Taekwondo. Hella young. I was a big fan of like Bruce Lee and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. I watched a bunch of like kung fu movies at my grandparents' house. It's like one thing my grandpa loved watching, and he noticed that I hella liked it. So every time like I went over there, we would go to like the 99-cent like store or like movie rental. Go there and I'll watch all of like the ninja movies, like all of them, bro. I watched all of it.
And then you just started tricking and dancing and all
Yeah, like from like martial arts, it came to like the dancing. And like when I was a kid, I really loved music still.
Yeah.
And like I always was dancing and stuff, but like I really took martial arts really seriously, like at that age.
So then what got you interested in getting into producing?
And
like when would you say?
I was 13, and I was like in 7th grade, 8th grade, and a lot of my music taste came from my sister, because she was the one that like knew what was like kind of like the hip shit, you know.
Older sister?
Older sister, yeah.
Word.
She's like 4 years older than me, and she put me on to like Flying Lotus, and at like back then it was like Jay Dilla. Like all the dope, like everything, bro, like just everything. But I was like living in like South Sacramento, which is kind of like a bad area, and like the house I was living at was like my mom. She like, this is kind of personal, but anyways, my mom, she like watched like a bunch of like schizophrenic people, and it was like a house just like known as like the crack house, and I didn't know that until like 2 years later, like. From now, like I'm like, damn, I really was like staying at a crack house. Like all these people were like schizophrenic and like weird, you know. Yeah. So like my house was labeled as that. But anyways, my neighbor across the street, he was like making beats off of Fruity Loops, and he would always see me outside, and he'd be like, hey Rudy, come over here, and then I would go over there, run over to his car, and like he would always burn like CDs and like put it in like his car. And like slap it, cause he had like like a 20-inch in the back, and like this like beat up ass Buick, and
with the system slap.
With the system, and he'd be like, "Yo, check this out," and he'd play all these like Fruity Loop beats, and I'd be like, "Damn, how did you do that?" And then from that on, he's like, "Yo, let me show you this program." He brought me into his house, and so he showed me Fruity Loops, and then he burnt me like a copy of it, and then he gave it to me, and then this is when we only had like a family computer, a compact, and like I put that shit on the compact computer and like started making beats from that.
Did your parents like complain? Was it slowing down the computer at all?
Hell yeah, because I downloaded a bunch of songs. Like I had like Kazaa on there, and course. Like all that, you know, Napster,
all that.
Yeah.
LimeWire. I rocked FrostWire for a little bit too.
Yeah, you know all the That's where we get along.
From that, you were just making beats out in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. You have like a whole team now. So when did you say that kind of started coming about?
Like 3 years ago, right? Talking about Awesome?
Yeah, just Awesome in general, like, and just, you know, producing with other people and stuff. You know, when did you really start kind of building a network and building a team in that regard?
I kind of had to like dig into that world.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just like you make beats and you go to this world, you know? Like for me, it was like SoundClick. And I don't know if you know about SoundClick, but it's like a community of just like, they would make like mock-up beats of like beats that are out now. And then like, that was that community. It was like when Scott Storch was popping and like Cully Park, you know, that kind of
like way
that
back
generation,
when, like early 2000s type shit.
Yeah. So I had to like really like find my style first, and that didn't happen till like I was 15, like 2 years later.
Word. When
I found out like, oh, you chop up records.
Yeah.
Oh, you make beats on MPCs.
Yeah.
And so I got into that world. I dropped like Fruity Loops and I went to like machines.
Yeah.
And like I learned how to chop records and like build my ear, you know, and like that helped a lot with my production. And it helped me place myself in the direction I wanted to go to, you know. And so once I found out about like Flying Lotus, and then I found out about like DiBiase, and then like that whole world, like the LA beat scene, you know, like Low End Theory, that's where I came from, you know what I mean? Like those are my people that I looked up to.
For sure.
You know, like I still want to play Low End Theory. That's just so sick to me.
Yeah.
You know? The whole like community thing like opened up for me, and then I realized like, oh, people do collectives now. You know? Like, and that was in 2011. You know, and like now that's like the thing to do.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. You got to be rocking with the collective these days.
Yeah.
So what, you realized this 3 years ago?
Yeah, with Awesome.
With Awesome?
Yeah.
And how did it go about? How you were just like, fuck it, let's start this, you know?
So me and Nate roomed together at this apartment 211 off of Tahunga. And it just had a bunch of cockroaches in there, motherfucking. It looked lit, right? We were like walked in there, we were like, fucking living room, hey, balcony, hey, and 2 rooms separate on each side. And then all of a sudden, these motherfucking little baby ass cockroaches come out of nowhere. You're like, ooh, what the fuck?
So you guys were with the cockroaches,
With
chilling,
the cockroaches,
and then you're
chilling.
like, yo, awesome.
If it wasn't for the cockroaches, bro, Awesome would never be like anything like in existence. But Nate, let's see, you connected with these two, Stesiak and Domino, and Bice. If it wasn't for Bice coming to the house, we wouldn't be anything. Yeah. I was like, yo, this is the missing link to everything. All right, do you guys want to be a collective? And everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. I hit my tooth on the microphone.
And you guys were like, awesome. And then somebody else said awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, let's just make some. That's how the name came about. I was like, yo, let's make some awesome. We just make like awesome shit. And they're like, yeah, let's just be awesome shit. And then the next day we had a session, right? You guys had a little session. And then I was in the room, I was like blasted, and then I like to like connect like letters and make acronyms. So I spelled shit with the X, the I being the X. And then I just try to relate everything to those letters, and I was like, Soul's here, extending thanks. And I was like, and I ran to your room, and I was like, yo, Nate, I got it. We're awesome Soul's here, extending thanks. And they're like, and then that's when it kind of just like connected real tough, you know? The vision became something. And then we had our first party. It wasn't even a party. It was like just like a beat cipher, you know? And Stesiak came, and Bice came, and then his homie Attila, the Hun, remember him? Yeah. And then it was just like a bunch of other random ass niggas, but that shit was lit for that time being. Like in the daytime on a Sunday, that shit was dope.
If you're a real neighbor, you just want to pull up to the party. You're not gonna call and snitch, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, dude, well, that's dope because awesome shit. Like I feel like, I mean, first of all, our show has pretty much been TV dinner, awesome shit minus JMO. Like literally, everyone has been an awesome shit member.
Well,
like y'all are
pretty
just
much
super talented. It's really cool that you know.
JMO is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome shit.
And it seems like, you know, you guys are really making moves. What do you guys got some stuff coming up next this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, we have 2 shows this weekend. One at this consignment shop in Sacramento. It just opened up. I feel like Awesome is about the culture, first of all, you know. So we're pretty much like teaming up with this consignment shop and helping them promote them, because, you know, they resell the stuff we wear, you know what I mean? Like this, you know, like Supreme, you know, the culture. So that's kind of like the collab we're doing from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. off of K Street in Sacramento. And then Sunday, we have a show in San Francisco at Fate in the back room. And the back room is super lit. It has its own bar, and it's just lit. And it's going to be on Sunday. It's going to be free, 10:30 to 2 a.m. And we're just going to get that shit super lit.
Last question.
Yep.
When are we going to get some new music?
This month.
Hell yeah.
I have a tape coming out called Why, and then I have a music video for Glow for Me. And then by tonight, I'm cutting off the little like due date for the entry for my giveaway hats. I designed this hat.
Tight.
It has the Ru Wavy logo hat. I designed it on a iPad and just like drew it out and stuff. And I was like, this is kind of cool. So I put it on a hat. So freaking, it's for my peoples, roommates, all those fools. The videos are super funny and great. I love it. It makes me laugh and it makes me smile. Go on my Instagram. You can watch it. I just love it. Oh, they're funny.
And he's got some dope Ruchi merch coming soon.
Yeah.
Was I not? Can I say that?
Yeah, you can throw it this way.
At the Ruchi.
Ruchi. Gang gang.
Episode 5.
TV
Ru
Dinner.
AREYOU.
Episode 5.
Let's get into it.